What's happening, everyone? It's your boy DMT 10 10 Tiger01, the Big Hall Dragon. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter at 10 Tiger01. Right. I'm here to talk about the ODI series that just concluded between South Africa and Bangladesh. And just as I predicted, this was definitely worse than New Zealand. This was worse than New Zealand. Because in New Zealand, the margin of defeats weren't this big, and Bangladesh, at least at times, they put up a fight. Over here, they did not even put up a fight. Now, I've thought about it, and it's partly basically on New Zealand, like on the team, because let's say I believe QDK Quentin Dakar, he said that the approach of South Africa was to be absolutely ruthless, and that's how a team should play. Absolutely, that's how a team should absolutely play. That's what got the 90s and the early 2000s Australia all the success that they had. They were absolutely ruthless. That's what got West Indies in the 80s the success that they had. Absolute ruthlessness. But Bangladesh did, it's like they did not even have a plan. Listen, it's no surprise that the conditions here were so foreign. The conditions here were so foreign that Tamim Iqbal actually re-aggravated an existing injury that he already had. That flared up only when he came back from South Africa to Bangladesh. Because I've seen the news reports from the doctors, with the doctors involved. They said that the conditions there were not the best, especially for someone who's not used to that type of climate, basically. Because let's face it, it doesn't get that cold that quick in Bangladesh. Usually, it doesn't. Okay, so that compounded by Mustafizur Rahman's injury and whatnot, and a lot of the batsmen being out of form. Listen, you know that this Liton Das experiment, it's not gonna work, especially in a very tough place to bat and bowl like South Africa to the South Africans. If I'm not mistaken, in a place where India won only 3 tests in the last 24 years or 24 matches or something like that, for a very long time, India won only 3 tests or something. Yeah, so like I said, of late, India have been having a dominant series at home, but overall, throughout history, the South African conditions has been some of the most harshest to foreign teams, when it comes to taking on South Africa in South Africa. So this is why even the T20 series, I don't see Bangladesh even being competitive. Trust me, forget about winning. That's not gonna happen. Bangladesh are not gonna even be competitive. And Mashrafi Mortaza, he actually pointed out a lot of things. One of the things he said that yes, he himself might be partly to blame because he wasn't that attacking enough. But Bangladesh now must realize, and I believe it's, excuse me. Right. I believe it's now starting to permeate through the board itself, because I've heard what Minhazul Abidin Nanu had to say. He said that 2018 we're gonna focus on training our training our team with, you know, at home with very similar conditions to, you know, uh, to the, you know, the away conditions, if you will. Well, with similar conditions at home that they would face, you know, when they go away to play, you know, a certain series. And this, bro, look at the amount of experimentation. People, look at the amount of experimentation they did. Look at the amount of experimentation they did. In me personally, if it were me, I would have Imrul Kais dropped. I would have Imrul Kais dropped. I would have Nasser Hussain, still play in the middle. I'd have Nasser Hussain play in the place of Mushfiqur Rahim, and I'd have Mushfiqur Rahim play at number 2. Because it looks like it looks like Mushfiqur Rahim is the type of guy who likes to build an innings. So I would have rather seen that. But look, everyone was so perplexed. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Shakib Al Hasan played in these conditions, in these specific conditions for a long time. I know he played in 2008 where he got 11 out of 20 wickets in two tests or whatnot. But guys, you must realize those were completely different conditions to this one. To this one. This one was, there was almost nothing in it for the bowlers. Like here, if you're a pace bowler, you're gonna get figured out, like, you know, of really how good of a pace bowler you are, and how much skill comes from you. Like on how much of the pace bowling skill comes from you, and how much assistance you need from the conditions and from the ground and from the pitch. This is one of the, I believe this is one of the reasons why, like, you know, South Africa is one of the most hostile territories for, you know, for foreign teams. The conditions are just so unique. Like I'm saying, I'm not taking blame away from Bangladesh. Although we know Bangladesh have done better than this. Maybe they just got figured out real hard this time by playing in the most harshest conditions. But Bangladesh have had this problem, especially with their pace bowling, like, you know, how to bowl pace in batting friendly conditions for quite some time now. They need to solve this problem. Yes, granted, at home, I still maintain, at home you have to have your distinct home conditions where all the advantages are up, you know, at all the advantages, you know, are at your side. That's what home conditions are. But when it comes to away conditions, like, I don't know, have him practice on concrete pitches and whatnot, and like, you know, show your bowlers how to, you know, like, you know, like, have your bowlers learn how to basically mix their line and length and pace up in a way that confuse the batsman. Not this Taskin Ahmed bullshit, man. Absolute bullshit. Like, he bowls 3 or 4 short deliveries and he bowls 1 Yorker. If you bowl 3 or 4 short deliveries, go for 2 or 3 boundaries, you bowl the 1 Yorker, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. He can just block that. You know, people are not that run hungry, or they can just, you know, deflect that, you know, for a single or 2. And if the Yorker is not right, you know, there you go for another boundary. So, as in away conditions, Bangladesh are where they are. Look, Bangladesh are where they are right now in away conditions, where they were in home conditions in 2007 when you had Javed Omar playing, when you still had Khalid Mashood just had left the scene, when you had Habibul Bashar captaining. Okay, when you had like all these, when you still had Syed Syed Russell as a player to be considered. So all in all, 2017, just like 2016, ended with a very big disappointment. I am very disappointed with Bangladesh. Like I said, I'm not taking any blame away from Bangladesh, but then again, I'm not being oblivious to other obstacles as well. Look, no matter what the conditions are, the other team also had to play on these conditions. So it's not like these conditions are unplayable. No, you just don't know how to play on these. You just don't know how to play on these conditions. And holy shit, Bangladesh have a lot of soul searching to do right now. And Mortaza was right. This is a problem. This is a long term problem, and this needs to be resolved if Bangladesh are to challenge teams away from home. Because you saw South Africa, they, they weren't playing, especially the first two ODIs. They weren't playing. They're like, nah. All right, you're a competitive side. Okay, we'll take you on like a competitive side. And you know what? Shout out to New Zealand as well. They just beat India in India, which is a very big deal. Which is a very very big deal actually. I expected better than the score India got actually. I expected better. But anyways, Bangladesh have a lot of soul searching to do in terms of their younger batsmen. I'm looking very closely at you, Shomo Sarkar, Imrul Kais. Okay, and even Nasser was saying like you get a spot back in the team, you have to prove harder than ever and more than everyone else why you deserve a spot in the team. I'm looking at all you, even you, Mushfiq Rahim, even you. Oh, Muhammadullah, holy shit, get this. Holy shit, get this fucking dumbass off the fucking team bus, man. Man, what have you done in this series? What have you done? I believe the next series coming up is unless something is prepared in 2017. I believe the next series is in 2018 at home. And listen, maybe there's just a fallout effect from right now. Maybe Bangladesh will get some time to recuperate and basically get their heads right out their asses and like fucking focus like a motherfucker, and analyze and understand the strengths and weaknesses of your opposition and how to bank on those weaknesses and how to defend against those strengths of your opposition at home when Sri Lanka come over in the test, in the ODIs, and in the T20s. And hopefully Bangladesh, will finally, because Bangladesh right now, they need to win a series, yo. They need to win a series, yo. In tests and especially in ODIs, to regain their confidence. They need to win. Not against teams like Afghanistan or Zimbabwe. No, they need to win a series against a team ranked higher than them. So hopefully we get to see that. But from this performance, I would say if Sri Lanka were to come, let's say maybe in 10 days time, in 10 days time you have another series. Bangladesh would have lost that series too. At home. Yeah, because right now with Bangladesh's performance, I'm not that confident. Bangladesh have to show me once again that they can perform better with consistency, and they need to translate this not only at home but even away, because a lot of Bangladeshi fans, I believe, are pissed off. They are pissed off. All right, I'm looking forward to comments and suggestions. And sadly, Bangladesh cricket fans, like 2016, 2017, also ended with with another whitewash, but this one is just worse. But yeah, you know, this is the pattern of Bangladesh, isn't it? You ride a high, and then you sink down with them at their low. The lows just keep getting deeper. The highs keep getting higher, but sometimes the highs don't get as high enough, as deep as the lows get. But this, you know, we've learned to accept this with Bangladesh. Let's just hope Bangladesh have learned not to sink that low when it, you know, when it comes time for the next series. Right, and look forward to comments and suggestions. This is the MC10 month of research signing out. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at TanTiger01. And if you want to be notified of my recent videos, hit that bell notifications button.